200 horses of man and machine. They're full wide. Green flag, showtime. The Knoxville Nationals are green.
Back. That's what I was worried about. There we go. Now we're back. Now we get everything set to rock and roll here. We said. All right. Let's see how well this is going to work out here. Trying to get everything situated so that it works okay. And I still can hear everything that I need to. All right. And away we go here tonight for heat number one. Sorry we missed qualifying, but heat number one is gridding up. And heat number one is brought to you by Gambler Motorsports. Here is your starting grid. Brian Moore on front. Brian Dickens there second. Trevor Guru there third. Sam Bachman there fourth. Chad Lackey fifth with William Watson starting tonight in sixth. Kelly Wheeler rolls off in seventh. Randy Shreves in eighth. And Tim Chapman back there in ninth. All right, here we go. Off and ready. And these drivers get set to roll. Come on, there we go. Here you see Trevor Guru in that number 75 down there on the bottom side. In front of him is that 55 of Brian Moore sitting out there on that pole spot. With his outside is Brian Dickens. As they work down through here, down the back stretch here at Huset, down here around turn number 3 and 4. Should be a great night of racing here. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their week off for the 4th. Or no, they didn't have the week off last week. I had the week off, which I wouldn't really call off. I was helping with the stand out at my fair, trying to bring in some money for our local Lions Foundation. Here tonight, we are back racing with me here live. Hopefully, everybody's ready to enjoy the show here as we get set to rock and roll. Side by side, Fred, when you pull that car down there into the pit lane, now there he goes. Now he's got it down there on the apron as we sit and wait for these drivers. They're coming off of turn 4 right now. Fred's got it off. Here we go. Green flag in the air. 8 laps the distance. Green flag is out there, down the way. Hang on to it there, Trevor, as you get it down there in the corner number 1. The 91 of Chad Lackey down there as well. Up there on that outside. That 23, William Watson. Side by side now for the lead. As we see the 122, Brian Dickens trying to battle it out there with the 55 of Brian Moore as they work down here through off the corner. Heading on down through in the corner number 3 and 4. Back off here, off of 4, back down across the front stretch. Little tight up there against that outside wall here as they come down across in the corner number 1 and 2 once again. Down that back straightaway, everybody's side by side, looking really good here. Everybody, what a great, whoa, hang on to it. Brian Moore goes around and collects Randy Shreves here in the front in the first heat. Hey, drivers, get it back, stacked back up again, try to get it straight back out. Tim Chapman also now involved, but he's rolling around here in that number 37. Hey, rolling around down there on the bottom side is Trevor Guru. Out front, Brian Dickens. Sam Buckman there in second. Great job here by these drivers. Look out, here comes Sam up there on the top jump, up into the outside wall a little bit. Gets pinned up there against that fluff. Now he's got to try to work it out there. But he's got Trevor Guru there on his back bumper. Now he's trying to get back up there to Dickinson. 2 laps to go here in heat number 1. As they roll off here into corner number 1 and 2. Back out through 3 and 4, out onto this front stretch. It's going to be Dickens there coming to the white flag down into corner number 1. Trevor Guru down there trying to find his time. And right behind him is Chad Lackey. Brian Moore not having a race he wanted. Oh no, the 007 of Sam Bachman goes around. That's going to stack everybody up. That's really going to change things. That's going to let Chad Lackey come up here in the second. Let the 23 of William Watson come up here in the third. Trevor Guru comes across in fourth. Kelly Wheeler fifth. Sam Bachman dropped back in the sixth. Man, oh man, what a tough race that one was there as we bring up Heat 1 results. Heat 1 results, Brian Dickens out there in front. Chad Lackey second. William Watson finishing third. Trevor Guru there fourth. Kelly Wheeler fifth. We got Sam Bachman there sixth. Randy Shreves in seventh. Tim Chapman eighth. And in ninth, Brian Moore. All right, that'll do it for heat number 1. Coming up here, heat number 2. Official grid. We got Dean Reynolds out there in front. Brandon Templeton there second. Andy Morano third. Brandon Dittmer there fourth. Matt Barber there fifth. Glenn Sharp in sixth. Mason Hine in seventh. Jeff Barker in eighth as we get ready to rock and roll here for heat number 2. Heat number 2 brought to you by Extreme TV, Coast to Coast Racing League. Unless that's changed, somebody needs to let me know there at Coast to Coast if that's changed. Yeah, I'm unsure who our sponsor for heat number 2 is. That's kind of just who I threw in there. Now we get set here for heat number 2. 8 laps the distance. Brandon Templeton now out there in front. Morano there on the bottom, in third. Dean Reynolds up there in... Dean Reynolds, I'm sorry, on the bottom as our lead car. We got that 31 of Brandon Templeton getting a great jump on the high side. Can he bring it out here in turn number 2? Cannot quite get there, but he's going to hang tough as Templeton's down there Templeton's on the high side really trying to get around Reynolds. Doing a great job as here comes that 83 of Brandon Dittmer. He's got it hung out there on the high side up above Morano. He's going to take over that third spot over top of Morano as now he sets his sights on trying to get above Dean Reynolds coming down that front stretch. Everybody single file down here in the corner number 1 and 2. 3 wide there as they work off of 2. Reynolds pulls out ahead as they're side by side once again for third and fourth. Dittmer trying to hang on there above Morano as they all work down here off the corner. There comes Barber there in fifth. Hayne there in sixth. Jeff Barker back there in seventh. As they all work down through here. Morano still trying to get that bottom side to work as he's way down there trying just to get that car to scurry along. But having issues there. He's got Dittmer up there that was outside. He's down there stuck to the bottom side. Down below Dittmer as we look like Morano's having some connection issues dropping here and there. Out here down through the front stretch. Here comes Reynolds now as he works there off the corner. Heading down that back stretch now. Reynolds there in second. Morano there third. Dittmer in fourth as Dittmer still tries to get around there. Templeton just kind of hanging on to first. 2 more laps here in heat number 2. Side by side, we got that 32 and that 79 battling it out for that second place. Right behind them is Dittmer. Coming off the turn 4, now final lap down here in the corner number 1. One more time around for heat number 2 with Templeton leading. Coming off that back straightaway in the corner number 3 and 4. Dean Reynolds there second with Dittmer there in third. And it looks like Morano possibly ended up dropping after all. That's going to bring us end his heat here. We'll see if we can get that connection issue fixed as the night goes on. All right, we're getting into our warm-ups. Small grid here tonight. So we'll be back after these messages.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and led to a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken, I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, we're back here from the Speedway, getting the grid set up here. Your starting grid tonight from RSN Trackside is going to look like this. Brian Dickens out there in front, landing on the pole. Brandon Templeton there second. Chad Lackey will roll off in third. Dean Reynolds fourth. William Watson fifth. Brandon Dittmer there sixth. Trevor Garou seventh. Matt Barber in eighth. Kelly Wheeler ninth. Mason Hine there in 10th. Sam Buckman in 11th. Jeff Parker in 12th. Sitting here in 13th, that's going to be Randy Shreves. Glenn Sharp will roll off in 14th. Tim Chapman 15th. Anthony Morano, after an issue there in the heat, is going to start in 16th with the 17th position going to Brian Moore in number 55. As we get them set to rock and roll here for Thursday Night Thunder from coast to coast. We'll have them set and rocking and rolling. Hey, driver, do what they can here tonight. Try to keep everything exciting. We're going down the back stretch, coming around here. Pace cars down on the infield. Out here, heading in the corner number 3 and 4. Away they go. Down through the front stretch. In the corner number 1. Everybody side by side here, as it looks like Templeton's going to get a great jump up there on the high side, getting it down here in the corner number 1. Down there along the low side, we've got one hitting the berm. 3 wide coming off the corner as Dittmer there in the 83. He's going to do what he can. Templeton up there in front. Great run off the start. And we see Reynolds there working the high side now as he tries to gain position on a couple of these drivers. Chad Lackey down there on the inside in that number 91. Brandon Dittmer there in the 83. He's on the high side there as well. Looking to the middle almost. Here comes Reynolds down through in third as they all fight for the position coming here off the corner. Reynolds getting a great run there. Chapman having problems as he goes and has somewhere that he ends up in the pits. So unsure what happened to Chapman there as he come off of turn number 4. Back down across the stripe. Down into corner number 1. Dittmer hanging on there by a thread on the inside. Reynolds up there on the high side. Down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Back around here to the front stretch. Everybody's battling real hard. We got them 3 wide in areas. There you see the 513 of Jeff Barker. The 56 there of Randy Shreve. Down there hitting the berm. That's the 89 of Mason Hine. As they all work here off at corner number 4. 24 laps to go here in your main feature. And around goes. That was Kelly. Well, who was that? Brian Dickens in the 122? Yeah, that was Brian Dickens going around there, causing the caution here with 23 laps to go. Sorry about that. Didn't realize the cars were off. There we go. Now we got them back here. Now we watch them coming down here in the corner number 3 and 4 coming here back around. As they head in the corner number 1, you'll see Reynolds gets into the back of them. That's what's going to send the 122 around and collect drivers up here on the high side. The 75 of Trevor Guru really nowhere to go. And it all just stacked up in front of him there. Coming back down here into the front stretch now as these drivers bring it on around. 23 laps to go. Everybody's single file at the moment. We'll see if they go double file here for the restart. They're trying to figure out who our leader is. Brandon Templeton. Dean Reynolds there in second. Brian Dickens was running well up there along with the... running well, and where'd he go? Oh, Dean Reynolds sitting there second. That's... We had a few of them running well. Now, unfortunately, they're... All right, so we're going to get them stacked up side by side, getting ready here for the restart. Templeton did good the last time he had to start on the top side. Looking to do the same thing here. This time, though, he's got Reynolds to his inside. These two battled it out hard in the last heat, if I remember correctly. And now they take the front row, and they are down and away. And what a jump that outside lane gets. That's going to jump William Watson up there into second ahead of Dean Reynolds. Dean Reynolds almost got caught sleeping there. And now the 91 of Chad Lackey gets to his inside. Down here through 3 and 4. The 007 there of Sam Bachman working his way up through the field. Up 7 positions from where he started. 22 laps to go. They work down the backstretch here in the corner number 3 and 4. Here at Huset, as now they come here off of 4, back down that front straightaway. Brandon Templeton out front. Sam Bachman back here in 4th. Chad Lackey up there on the high side. In that, that's Randy Shreve we're looking at in the number 56 up there on the high side. Chad Lackey in the number 91 down there on the inside. Coming here off the corner, hanging tough. Is that 56 of Randy Shreve. He's got Morano down there to his inside. Morano's trying to help move him out of the way. As they come down there onto the inside, Morano gets the slide on him. Here comes Bachman. Oh, I'm sorry, not Bachman, but Shreve's back down there to the inside. He's trying to hold off Morano as they come back down the backstretch. Morano's down and stacked up a little bit, caught in the middle between a couple drivers. Here they work off of 4, back down in. Oh no, Morano gets clipped there. That's going to push him up the racetrack. We're going to go 4 wide. Oh boy, is it tight coming off of there. As they go 3 wide there, the 16 makes room for himself with Matt Barber. He's going to bring himself up through there and up into Morano, gone missing again. He's still having some connection problems. There in that number 32, right there behind that number 16, Matt Barber. Chad Lackey up there on the top side possibly sees all this going on in his mirror, if he's got the virtual mirror turned on. If they're like anything like real race cars, they have no mirror, which is the way style racing I usually race, is no mirror. Also helps with the frame rate, I've noticed, for racing on here. Now we see Dean Reynolds there in third as he comes there battling with Sam Bachman. Sam Bachman down there on the inside, really getting that car to hook really good down there on the bottom. Brandon Templeton running away with it out front at the moment. William Watson there in the 23, sitting there in second. He knows that he's got company there behind him. Bachman down on the bottom side. Chad Lackey up there on the top side. He's got Morano coming for him though, as as Barber and Morano still battle it out there for 6th and 7th. Hey, Barber there to the outside. There you can see the 56 of Randy Shreves. Shreves still trying to find a way to get around this track. Morano down there on the bottom side trying to get all he can out of that race car. Hey, Randy Shreves. Brandon Dittmer having issues as he's now in the pits. Working down here off the corner. Brandon Templeton out front. William Watson there in second. Got company there, though, on the inside from Sam Bachman. I'm going to say Sam Bachman definitely has found something down there on the inside of the racetrack as he rolls around down there. And I think that's what Morano was trying to find as well, but just has not been successful as of yet. There's a few of them still trying to cling to that bottom side of the racetrack. Watson hanging up there a little bit higher, coming there through the corner, trying to keep it as smooth as possible. Bachman there now up to second. Brandon out front. That's Brandon Templeton out front. Crossover move, cannot quite get there as he looks. Now he's going to try that crossover move down there on the bottom side. As now Watson goes to the inside of Bachman. These drivers still battle it out. 3 wide, 4 wide, baby. As they work here off of 4, down across the stripe into corner number 1. Sam Bachman here in second. 7 laps to go as they work on down through. Into corner number 1 and 2, right here, 3 and 4, out onto the front stretch. Brian Moore back here in 9th. Everybody so tight here with 6 to go. We're watching it all happen here. There you see Morano down there on the bottom side. The 16 of Matt Barber up above him. You got Watson falling back as Watson now tries to find out what's down there on the bottom. Everybody's looking for. Cannot find it, so he jumps back up there to the high side. Morano now back on the bottom side. He's going to get underneath Barber and see if he can get somewhere with it with that 23 now of William Watson falling back here, back into 5th. Chad Lackey up to 4th now, trying to get back up towards where he started. As there you see Dean Reynolds there in 3rd. Sam Bachman 2nd with Brandon Templeton out front as he skates his way through 1 and 2. Back out onto the backstretch there, you see the other drivers back here as they come off the turn number 2 down that back straightaway. 3 laps, soon to be 2 laps to go as they come here off of 4. Sam Bachman there in 2nd. Brandon Templeton out front. Morano down there on the inside underneath Barber. Barber still hanging on. Morano disappearing and coming back here as they come down here off the corner. Templeton out front. Bachman 2nd. Final lap around here from in Huset for the 358. This is how they come down here lurking through. Morano down on the inside. It's Sam Bachman there for 2nd. Templeton for 1st. Chad Lackey there in 4th. Matt Barber rounding out your top 5. The driver bring it back onto the front stretch. There you see Templeton out front. Bachman and Reynolds. Your top 3 tonight. Get with Dean Reynolds here at the end of this one. Good evening, Reynolds. How's it going?
How's it going, Adam? What are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Good run out there for that number 79 tonight.
Yeah, I got rolled on the top there, and it was weird because the matinee today was actually on the bottom, and when Brandon chose that outside for that restart there, he went on the bottom, so I let William go by me so I can go right to the top, and because that's where I was going to stay all race, and we got going there. Me and Bart got together a little bit, but that's okay. It was just one of those deals there, and Sam got by me, and then we got back on the top, got comfortable, and but I don't think any of us had anything from Brandon. He was the class of the as the field tonight.
You definitely had a lot of great racing going on. I mean, it wasn't a one-lane racetrack, which is good to see.
Yeah, that. Me and Sam were just saying that was a pleasant surprise. Because Huset sometimes with the modifieds can get middle dominant or whatever, but I don't know if it was because it was held at nighttime or what, but it was really racy. You could run a couple of grooves there and make some passes and stuff. So yeah, that was a surprise. So it was a lot of fun.
It definitely was a fun one to watch, and we can't wait to see what the big blocks hold. Maybe big blocks might be a different story. Who knows? I mean, they have a little bit more horsepower to get around the racetrack.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see who's going to choose a big block or a 358 because you got a choice in the race. So it's going to be, I know what I'm going to go with, and I'll let you know once I'm in the server. But, so it's going to be interesting to see who runs a 358 or a big block on this. But hopefully it's as racy as this one was, and you can have a good race to broadcast.
All righty. Well, you got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for helping you get third-place podium tonight?
Yeah, just FTM, all those guys, the FTM, great bunch of guys, and we got another good finish here with second and third with Sam and guys behind us. So got to thank those guys. Got to thank you for sponsoring, not sponsoring, for doing the broadcast. And FTM is sponsoring the Thursday night big blocks and 358, so we're proud to do that. And thank everyone from coast to coast for making this happen.
All righty. Well, congrats there, getting that third place, and we'll see how well you do in the big blocks.
All right, Adam.
Or I should say the 358 Big Block Showdown is what I should call it.
Yeah, and I'll let you know what I run after I get in.
All right.
Thanks, man.
That was Dean Reynolds, our third place finish, and I will get with Sam. Good evening, Sam. How's it going?
Going pretty good.
Well, you got that second place here. I'm not sure how much of a battle it was to get it there, but a lot of great racing going on tonight.
Yeah, I was just started 11th. I knew I was probably going to have to hold the bottom for a good amount of the race, so I did that and got side by side with Dean and William there for a while, and that was pretty fun or whatever for about 10 laps or whatever, and I finally got by him or whatever, and I went to the top 3 and 4, and then the bottom of 1 and 2, and was just trying to catch Brandon, but I think he was just too far out there, and just praying for a caution, I guess.
He definitely did a great job tonight keeping that car out there, up there in second. But you had to come through the field a little bit though to make it happen.
Oh yeah, I noticed in 1 and 2 there was a lot of grip down there still. 3 and 4 was you kind of had to baby it a little more, but I just started running that bottom in 1 and 2, and I could really gain on them. And then 3 and 4 is just kind of equal. You just had to hit your mark right, and you could stay right with them.
Great job coming up to the field, getting second. Sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting that second place tonight?
Oh yeah, all the boys over at FTM. Gunnar at Swan Speed Shop, he's really been working hard on the dig for us. Dean over at Super Dark Car Series, Expert Installation, Vertex Graphics, and obviously you Flieger for doing the broadcast and Coast to Coast.
Alrighty, my pleasure, and good luck in the next race.
Thank you.
All right, I will get with our winner, Templeton. Good evening, Templeton. Didn't like anybody had anything for you tonight.
Yeah, it just helps a lot on a real slick technical track like that. It's tight to get out front and be able to hit your marks or focus on your own car, not worry about trying to beat the guy next to you back to the gas and slide into the corner. You can just really focus on what your car's doing and make sure that it's staying neutral and getting the most out of it you can.
I definitely look good out there, and you found that line that definitely helped your car get to the front and stay there. And, I mean, kind of take us through. What did you think of the track tonight? Was it, drivable? Was it slick? Kind of take us through that race tonight.
It got kind of slick, but there was a little bit of cushion, just a little bit. That part got really hard in 1 and 2 because the wall kind of juts out right in the middle there. So you got to plan your angle of attack just right so you're not going into that. But it kind of came in, started getting not really rubber, but cleaned off on the bottom enough that you could make a little time there if you were real easy on the throttle. So it came in. I think both lines were probably pretty equal there at the end.
Alrighty, well, congrats again getting that podium here in the 358s. You're coming back for the big block 358 showdown?
Yep.
Alrighty, well, who's your sponsor, shout-outs, and who you want to thank for helping you get that victory tonight?
Thanks to you for putting on the broadcast, everyone at Coast to Coast, working behind the scenes. Get signed up for the Knoxville National charity event. It's awesome that it supports the Steve King Foundation, which is a cool deal here in Knoxville that they do every year at the Nationals also. So make sure you get signed up for that early and get in there, help us out, raise some money for an awesome cause and help racing. Dirt Track Bank got your 6 Racing Network, Hammer Down Motorsports, Extreme Images, Maley's Makery, Big C's Lawn Care. Thank you.
All right, that was Brandon Templeton as he gets ready for our 358 Big Block Showdown, getting the victory here tonight. We'll be back here in a little bit for the 358 Big Block Showdown, and then later on tonight is the Pro Late Model, so make sure you stay tuned.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae in my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in the race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, there we go. Now, we're back from the speedway, getting ready to rock and roll. Now we head on down through corner number 3 and 4, heading back out there. Across the front stretch down here into corner number 1 and 2. There you see Templeton out here getting warmed up. Randy Shreves as well. Sam Bachman, William Watson. Looks like we only got maybe about 10 drivers here with this group. Unsure what each of them chose. We got them heading out here. I see Brandon Templeton coming out here. He's still getting laps in. Randy Shreves there. Sam Bachman. Up there across the top side, Sam Bachman back here in the 007. All right, we're getting set to rock and roll here. See how long it takes to get things situated. And Morano getting his lap times in. We're still in practice. Waiting to see what we got going on here. If each driver can get it locked in here, giving them a few minutes more. And Bachman. And I'm muted again. There we go. Now we're back. All right, Sam Bachman there setting a quick time of 12.304. Anthony Morano with a 12.305. Man, oh man, those are close lap times. Then we got Brandon Templeton there with a 12.333. With Watson with a 12.345. Trevor Grew also with a 12.354 there. So just flipping the last two numbers. Now we see them getting ready here. We'll see what the first grid looks like if we can get it to come up. We might only have just a single heat here. Heat number 1, brought to you by Gambler Motorsports. Here's your Heat 1. William Watson there first. Brandon Templeton starts second. Anthony Morano third. Sam Bachman fourth. Trevor Garou there fifth. Dean Reynolds there sixth. Brian Moore in seventh. Randy Shreves there eighth. Jeff Barker ninth. But Brandon Dittmer there in 10th. That is your top 10 here driving here tonight in the Big Block 358 Showdown. This is the heat race. So we got 8 laps to distance. One heat, then we'll have a warm-up, and then on to the feature event. Morano's still having a little bit of blink problem. Watson down there in that front position. They're in at 23. Andy Morano there in third. Bachman there in fourth. Somewhere around there, yep. All right, green flag in the air, 8 laps the distance. Watson getting a great jump there, followed by Morano. That top side kind of fell back a little bit with Trevor Giroux up there. And then you got Brandon Templeton and Dean Reynolds running the big block here. Up here on the top side, you got the 55 of Brian Moore. Down there on the inside, the reason why I'm saying that's a big block for Dean Reynolds is Dean Reynolds was driving a red machine the last race. This time he's got a blue one. Now we come down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Watson out front. Morano there second. Trevor Giroux there in third. Brandon Templeton there in fourth. Dean Reynolds there in fifth. So I wonder if these guys up front are running the 358. We'll have to see here if that is true as they come here off of the corner. Down here in the 3 and 4. Back around onto the front stretch. Watson out front. Morano there second. Giroux there in third. Brandon Templeton there in fourth. Looks like we might have 2 lanes forming once again. It's Morano blinking out once again up there towards the top as he gets the cut down there coming off the corner. Now in the corner number 1 as they come on sliding in. Here you see Giroux in third. Templeton fourth. Reynolds there in fifth. Rounding out the top 5. We only got a 10-car field here tonight. Jeff Barker in the pit. Brandon Dittmer there in ninth. Now rounding out your field as Barker's in the pits. There we see the 31 of Templeton. He was our winner last race. Now he's sitting here in about fourth. Up to third. Nope, now into fourth. Have to see there as Morano's all over the bumper of Watson as they come down there through into corner number 3 and 4. Back around here onto the front stretch. And off the corner, it's going to be Watson. Morano not able to get there quite yet. Down on the bottom side as they race here off corner number 2 and getting out of the gas. Brandon Templeton there in fourth. Trevor Giroux finishing there in third. We'll end up taking a quick look here at our results for the heat. As we said, we only got 10 cars here. So let's see here. Let this come around and do what it needs to do. There we go. Heat 1 results. William Watson gets the win with Andy Morano there in second. Trevor Giroux there third. Brandon Templeton fourth. Dean Reynolds fifth. Brian Moore sixth. Sam Bachman seventh. Randy Shreves there eighth. Brandon Dittmer ninth. Jeff Barker in 10th. So that'll be the ending of that. So we'll be back after these messages.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and led to a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to helped push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life and it's the lives of racers everywhere is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, here we go. Ready for some action. Here is your starting grid for your feature, brought to you by RSN Trackside. Your top drivers here tonight. William Watson starting on pole, Anthony Morano in second. In the second row, down the inside is going to be Trevor Garud at Brandon Templeton to his outside in fourth. Row number 3, bottom side, is going to be Dean Reynolds in fifth with Brian Moore to his outside in sixth. Row number 4, inside, in 7th, is going to be starting Sam Bachman in that 007. Randy Shreve is outside in 8th. Row number 5, on the inside, starting in 9th, is Brandon Dittmer into the outside of row number 5. Starting in 10th is Jeff Barker. That is your starting grid, brought to you by RSN Trackside. Now they're heading down through here, looking great. All right, down here off the corner. And they work off the corner down here through. And through turns 3 and 4, back around onto the front stretch. Here for the main feature here at lap 3. Watson out front, Morano there in second, Trevor Garou sitting in third, coming along there behind him, Brandon Templeton, as everybody's kind of single-filed it out. Not running the same line, though, here. Morano's having more problems with the internet, it looks like. He dropped down through there. Watson out front, Garou there in third. Who's it going to be here as we roll on? That caution is out. See what brought that one out. Sam Bachman somehow. Here we go with the replay down through here. We see down there on the bottom side. Trying to see where Sam Bachman is. See what goes on here. Hey, it comes up through, getting a little side. Oh, man, up into the outside wall, up against that outside wall, and loses the left front wheel off of that thing. Man, oh, man, that's not how you want to take the walls here at Huset. He stopped down there on the speedway. That's what brought the caution out. There we go, green flag back in the air. See if we can get it back down through here. Morano getting a great run at Watson. Watson hanging on to it there so far. 26 laps to go. They come here in the corner number 1. Sliding around here, looking great. Here they come off. I realize you guys don't have the, okay, well, now we've lost that, so, give me a moment here. As we lost my grid here, looks like Watson's still hanging on to that front row there. I try to get the grid back here for everybody now. Head on down through here, looking like Watson out front. Morano there second. Templeton back here third. Great run so far tonight. There it is. There's the grid back. There you see Dittmer down there on the bottom side. He's running along. Watson out front. Barker in the pit. Trevor Garou back here in 9th. Sam Bachman, after getting that tire put back on, is up here in 8th. Struggling there. I would see Morano there in 2nd. Templeton there 3rd. Morano, if I look correctly, last week had a good sweep of the series all the way through Thursday night. Everybody worked on down through here off of the on here in the corner. We got Watson out front. Morano there in 2nd. Templeton there in 3rd. Head on down through 14 laps to go. Worked on down through here off of the corner. The 23 of Watson. Anthony Morano there 2nd. Templeton there 3rd. Back here a little farther. Here's Detmer, Shreve, Moore all running back here. You see Shreve, he's up there on the top side of that 56 machine trying to get something gathered up there. Down here through the corner. We got Watson there out front, Morano there 2nd, Templeton there 3rd, Dittmer there 4th, Shreves there 5th, Moore there 6th, Reynolds in 7th with Sam Bachman there 8th, Trevor Garou there 9th. Working down through, Watson still your leader with Anthony Morano trying to chase him down. 8 laps to go. here through the back stretch, down in the corner number 3 and 4, back out onto the front stretch as everybody works around. Morano there, sitting second, Dittmer there in fourth. Treves there fifth, 7 laps to go. They come around this time. Down through 1 and 2, side by side there as Morano's got to run down there on the bottom side. Can't quite get there as he's got Templeton there behind him. Looking as Templeton tries to find that groove to try to get up there to these front two. As these guys go right around. Dean Reynolds struggling back here in that big block. Morano there second, and still having a little bit of connection problem for that number 32 tonight. William Watson out front leading the way here tonight in that 23. Templeton there in third, and they come back off of the back corner. We know Watson had a pretty good car until late in the race last time. Is that going to be a repeat where he has it late till the race this time? As Morano's still trying to wear him down there on the inside. Watson up there against the top side, getting that run. Morano down on the inside, lost him there. Now he ends up back behind once again. Watson up there to the top side. 2 laps to go here in the main feature for the 358 big block showdown here with the Thursday Night Thunder. Heading on back out here in the corner number 1 and 2. Side by side. Here goes Morano looking down here to the inside. Cannot quite get there. Down in the corner number 3 and 4 they go. Or I'm sorry, no, 1 and 2 they go. Down through the backstretch for the final time here with the modifieds. Out through the backstretch into corners 3 and 4. Out here, it's going to be Watson for the win. Morano just nipping at his heels as he did all race long. Great job there by these drivers as they head on down through here. What a great night here for these guys. We'll get with the winner here, starting with Templeton. Boy, oh boy, what a night tonight. Good evening here at Templeton once again. How's it going?
Pretty good. Just kind of survived that one. You know, I didn't have a lot of traffic around me most of the time. The front two checked out. They were on another level and got a little gap behind me due to maybe an accident or something. But just kind of rode it out. Took third. We'll take it any time.
Well, were you out there in a big block or a 358?
I was in a big block, but, you know, I don't know if it made a lot of difference, really. I mean, everybody was spinning their tires if they really tried to get into it, no matter what they're driving. But I don't know. It might have helped. I'd like to hear what the other guy's running.
Well, you did a great job at least getting third here. I know you had some gap over Dittmer behind you. So, and those two out front, I don't think there was any catching them.
Yeah, they, like I said, they were on another level. They were absolutely nailing their marks and hitting it in this division. So hats off to them. Got to thank Jay at the Dirt Track Bank, Stream Images, Maley's Makery, Big C's Lawn Care, you, Fleeger Farms, for putting on the broadcast and everything that you do to help out and get us out there and give us something fun to watch. And everyone that helps out with the league and everyone watching at home, thanks.
Alrighty, well, congrats there, Templeton, to get that third place. And we're going to see you in the late models?
I think I got to dip out for the night. I got some other commitments.
Alrighty, well, congrats there for third place, and we'll see how well you do next week.
Thanks.
All right, that was Templeton getting third place tonight. Anthony Morano now getting here in a second. Good evening, Morano. How's it going? Yeah, Morano?
Hey, what's going on, Fleeger?
Oh, not a whole lot. Looks like you're having a little bit of blinky blink tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I've tried restarting all my internet stuff, and it seems to still be an issue. I don't know what's going on.
So, did you get knocked out of your heat race in the 358s? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I had a little packet loss, so, I mean, it happens. It sucks. Didn't want that, but I still made it back up, I think, 5th or 6th, so we'll take it. And came out here and had a hell of a race with Bart there in the big block, so far pretty good.
Well, you did a good job there trying to get up there at least to battle, but unfortunately just not enough.
Yeah, tough track, and yeah, try not to screw anybody up blinking, but I have no idea why it was doing it.
Well, hopefully you get to the bottom of it. Yeah,
Yeah, I
great
always seem
job.
to have some type of issues here at this track. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
This track don't like you too much in.
That's all right. I'm not a big fan of this place either, so
So the feeling's mutual.
yeah, we'll just deal with it.
Alrighty, well, congrats on second place here in the Big Block 358s. Kind of tell us, what were you out there in?
Nah, I was in the big block.
You were Big Block?
Yeah.
Alrighty. See, some of you guys run a different paint scheme like Reynolds, so I know the difference between your 358 to your Big Block.
Dean has like 6,000 paints. He switches them every week. He can't tell.
Alrighty. Well, congrats on second place. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you need to thank for helping you get into that second place podium?
I gotta thank my wife Sherry, the boys at FTM, Super Dark Car, Swan Speed Shop, Hi Mom Lens, DJ Sim Shop, Vertex Graphics, Expert Installation, Casper Flagstone, Shaggy TV. Adam, you for coming out and doing the broadcast and everyone at Coast to Coast.
Alrighty, well, congrats there. Again, getting that second place. Might be a little bit of a letdown there, I think, from last week, but, I mean, sorry I couldn't be here.
Having a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I know everyone's got stuff to do. It's all right.
All right. Well, you coming out in the Pro Late Models?
Yeah, we're going to do, I'm looking at the schedule. It says we're doing 40 laps tonight in the late models, so that should be fun.
Alrighty. Well, go get geared up for that, and we'll see you there.
All right, thanks a lot, buddy.
All right, I was Anthony Morano, and I will get with Watson. Good evening, Watson. How's it going?
Good about you?
I'm doing fairly well. How's that Victory Lane tonight?
I felt good. I had a good battle out there with Anthony. It was great. Can't complain. Track felt great.
Well, you had to hold off Morano there to keep the win, and you did a great job of doing that. And was exciting to watch. I mean, were you worried about Morano possibly getting around you?
I'm always worried about Morano. Yeah, he's one of the fastest guys I've raced with in a while. All the boys at FTM are, but yeah, I just noticed some things here and there. Like I could read the tracks pretty well. I could see with the mirror, I could see where he's running also, but then I would also see that going in the straight, if I got into it too early, the car wanted to kick sideways and he would catch me. So I was actually babing it, wasn't even going full throttle to the very end of the straightaway, just to keep the car under me.
You did a great job tonight keeping that car under you and getting that win. So hopefully that'll help you out in the points.
Yeah, I missed a couple races. And other stuff going on, but I'm just here to have fun, hang out with the boys.
All right, who's your sponsor, shots, and who you need to thank tonight for getting that victory?
Teammates at FTM, Swan Speed Shops, Deeper Performance, Gripex.com, the Dirt Car Series, Tyler Bowman, Vortex Graphics for coming on, sponsoring us, and making all these paint jobs for us. Coast to Coast, Shaggy TV, you for Buckus.
Alrighty, well, congrats on getting that win tonight. And are you coming in for the Pro Late Models?
Yeah, I'll be here. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, well, we'll see how well you do there. We'll see how this track shapes up for that. So good luck.
Thank you.
All right, that was William Watson, our victory winner here in the Big Block 358 Showdown. Go ahead and share with you the results of the race. William Watson takes home the win. Anthony Morano second. Brandon Templeton third. Brandon Dipper fourth. Randy Shreve there fifth. Brian Moore sixth. Dean Reynolds seventh. Sam Blockman in eighth. Trevor Garou there ninth. Jeff Barker in 10th. That'll be that there tonight as they get rolling. We'll take a small break here, and we'll get back to the track here in just a moment with the Pro Late Models.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight we talked about it.
Outpouring of love means that these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they've done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Kids, it's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
We talked about it.
Outpouring of love, these dollars that come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they've done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
We talked about it.
Outpouring of love is amazing. These dollars that come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and led to a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU for a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, we're back here with the Pro Late models. Hopefully everybody's ready for some more racing action as we get into qualifying here. Looks like we've got 8 drivers that are ready to take the field. 8 drivers head out there. We got Pat Boyce, Trevor Garou, Dean Reynolds out there. Right there, you see him in that white number 79. Andy Morano out there, hopefully he's got something fixed there with that internet. Pat Boise out there in the number 41 as he goes around here, tries to set a pretty good lap time here tonight as they head on down here in the quarter number 1 and 2, down through 3 and 4. Back out onto the back stretch they go here early on in this one. As you see that 41 of Pat Boyce out there. Trevor Garou, he's trying to set down a decent lap time as well as he's heading there through turns 1 and 2. Best lap time so far here by Morano with a 12.409. Reynolds with a 12.606. Watson comes in with a 12.488. Coming on down through there. Garou, 12.474. Who could try to get up there with Morano? That's what we're all trying to see. Morano on rails at the moment. They're at the top of the leaderboard in qualifying. Now you see Reynolds there. There's that 83. Brandon Dittmer. Trevor Garou down there as well. Sam Buckman, Clay Christopherson, and Scott Riome not taking a qualifying time right now. We got 35 seconds left. Does not look like they're going to take A qualifying time, well, scratch that. One of them did. Bachman comes out. Man, oh man, did he lay down a heater with a 12.398. And it looks like Guru, I missed that. Guru got a 12.400. So that puts him ahead of Morano. Morano looks like he's going to end up starting in third. As the 4 of Scott Riome is out here. He's going to see what he can do. Dropping down here. Can he get a time in here? He does. Or I thought he was, but he does not. As qualifying ends. Here we go. On to the first heat. That heat being brought to you by Gambler Motorsports. The whole night here tonight. Now, this Pro Late Ball is being brought to you by the Regal Wraps and Designs. We got the Modifieds were brought to you by Full Throttle Motorsports, or some of you rather know them as FTM. We get set to rock and roll. Here we go. Up in the corner, up there into the starting line we go. For the starting grid. William Watson starts on pole, Morano on second. There in row number 2 is going to be Trevor Guru in third with Sam Bachman fourth. Brandon Dittmer there in fifth, Dean Reynolds sixth. Pat Boyce there in 7th, Scott Riome 8th. Clay Gustafson rounds out your field here tonight in 9th. I thought we had 8 drivers, but we actually got 9 as they come out here ready to rock and roll around Huset one more time here, but this time in the Pro Late Models. We'll see these guys pick that front end up, try to get that thing in the corners and around this racetrack. Morano going to do what he can, starting up there on the outside. Looking a little bit calmer up there now with that internet compared to what he was earlier. Then down there on the inside is William Watson. Watson came out and he won there in the Big Block 358 showdown. And he's going to come out here and try to show his skill around this racetrack. Trevor Guru back there. He's also had a great night running in that number 75T. Sam Bachman there in 4th spot. Dean Reynolds 5th. Brandon Dittmer there 6th. Scott Riome in 7th. Rolling down here off of the corner. Down into corner number 3 and 4. Fred pulls that pace car off. We're getting ready for the green flag as they come here off the 4. Down here across the front, green flag is now in the air. Everything is a go with 8 laps to go. Down here into corner number 1. Hang on to it. Morano up into the outside wall. That is not how he wanted to start that. As Dittmer slides it on up there and gets him caught. That's going to bring Dittmer up there in front. Trevor Guru there in second now, and Reynolds in third. Here comes that 83 of Dittmer. Sam Bachman now in the pits along with Anthony Morano as they roll on down here out of turn number 4. There we see that 41 of Pat Boyce as he gets passed there by Clay Christopherson. As Clay's down there on it inside in that 51, trying to figure a way to get up there. Here with 6 laps to go. The 79 of Dean Reynolds there in third as they come rolling here off the corner. Trevor Guru in that 75T down there in second. William Watson up there in front, down through into corner number 3 and 4 as they hang it on out here. Watson up there on that cushion. Dean Reynolds there third. Dittmer back here in 4th. He's got company there from Clay Christopherson down there on the inside, rolling here off as they work down here into corner number 1. Rolling around up there is that 51 of Clay Christopherson up here a little bit farther. That's 75T of Trevor Guru as he tries to get underneath Dittmer. Or I'm sorry, not Dittmer, but Wilson. Watson, sorry. Watson up here in front as Dittmer's back here in 4th. Christopherson back here in 5th. Scott Riome back here in 6th. Morano and Bachman having issues. Morano back out on track, just trying to get some laps in here to feel it out. Watson going and getting the white flag as he works there through turns 1 and 2, back out onto that backstretch. Guru trying to work his way down here on the inside, cannot quite get there. The 3 of them are battling hard as they race it out onto the backstretch. Great run there for the heat race here in the Pro Late Models. With the Pro Late Model, we're going to go ahead and stick here and watch them warm up. We've had such a great night so far. Heat 2 and Heat 3 not getting the recognition here tonight. We've had small car counts tonight, but the racing has been fabulous. Here we see Trevor Guru out there on track, working his way back around. I've lost my notes somewhere. I'll have to find them here within next week, so I have them ready to go for next week. Anthony Morano working there in that 32. Like I said, he's looking a little bit better there with the internet. As Sam Buckman's up there on the top side, he's working his way around in that 007 FTM Motorsports machine. We got 2 minutes to go here in warm-ups. Andy Morano down there on the bottom side. Trevor Garou up there on the top side. Clay Gustafson there third. Sam Bachman fourth. Anthony Morano doing a great job here. Clay Gustafson there fourth. William Watson there fifth. Pat Boyce there in sixth. Scott Riome there with the 444. Working down through. Well, he's running just the number 4, but we know he's 444. He's got the 44 spelled out across the number. There you see that 75T working down there off the corner. A minute to go in the warm-ups. Let us know who's your favorite driver, who you want to see try to win it tonight here at Huset. As Trevor Garou's out there in front, there you see Sam Bachman in second. Working on back through. What a great job tonight. As we got about 10 seconds left to go in warm-ups. Hope everybody's ready for the main event here tonight as we're getting set to bring that to you. As caution flag waves here in warm-ups. These drivers getting them cars set just how they want them and getting acclimated to the track. Your starting grid for the feature brought to you by RSN Trackside. Here we get the starting grid up and out there on row number 1. And I'm sorry, this is not 58 modified. This is late models. We're going to change this so that it's saved here going forward. All right, so this is the Pro Lates here. William Watson there out front. Trevor Garou there second. In row number 2, Dean Reynolds in third. Brandon Dittmer there in fourth. Clay Gustafson fifth. Scott Riome in sixth. Pat Boyce there in seventh. And his outside is Anthony Morano. Sam Bachman there in ninth. Oh, and he's got some work to do to come back up through the field after that mishap here in heat number 1. Trevor Garou better watch himself. Make sure the same thing doesn't happen to him. Starting out there on that outside. Pace car leading him around. We'll go around one more time before we take that green flag here. 30 laps to go. Or 30 laps to distance. Somebody tried telling me it was 40 laps, but it looks like 30 laps to distance here for this one. Everybody side by side, getting ready to rock and roll here. Off the corner they go. On to the front stretch. Green flag down and away in the corner number 1. Side by side they go. Got Clay Christopherson there in third as he works up there on the bottom side. Working off the corner now. In the corner number 1 they go. They work on down through. Looking great here. You got Dean Reynolds there. A couple drivers having issues. Brandon Dittmer, Scott Riome. Brandon Dittmer losing a wheel there. He's down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Unsure what happened there. Take a quick look at it here as they keep going. Green flag. Not sure why that went unfounded, but it did. Take a quick look at it here. You see him end up into that outside wall, come down, gets into the 79. That's going to send Reynolds around, and they all stack up there at the back of the pack and stack up there against the front stretch. No caution here in the main event as they all stay going. 25 laps to go. Watson out front. There you got the 75 of Guru. Here is Christopherson back here in third as he tries to get it back up there. 24 laps to go down that back straightaway as they all fight it out. Here goes Morano down below Reynolds. As Reynolds up there on the outside, you got Morano down there on the inside trying to hang on to it. 23 laps to go. Morano's trying to find something down there on the inside. We've definitely seen quite a bit of two-lane racing here at Huset today. As that bottom side has been giving some drivers the better grip down there, but some of these drivers doing better on the high side. Watson going there, coming there through the corner. Trevor Grew right behind him. There comes Christopherson. Dean Reynolds back here in the 79. Morano down there on the bottom side once again, trying to get underneath Reynolds. Reynolds just rolling that mid to high line as they come here off the corner. Alpha 4. Christopherson there in third. Grew there second. Watson up there in front as they come here off the corner. Down in the corner number 3 and 4 once again, coming back around to the front straightaway. Everybody single file for the most part. There you see Bachman down there on the bottom side. Pat Boyce having problems back here towards the back. Unsure exactly what happened there. Dittmer in the pits, as we said, as his night ended up badly. Trevor Garou now getting a run here at Watson as they work here through 1 and 2. Can he get it to stick? As he goes off the corner, back around up there on that high side. Working as he can in the corner number 3 and 4. Garou is there. Can he make anything happen? He's got 17 laps to do it. As they come here out of 4, looking to see what he can do. Here comes Pat Boyce down there in the pit lane, having issues with that machine. William Watson, still your leader for the moment, as Trevor Garou is doing all he can to run that top side to run him down. Clay Christopherson also right there. The top three are right there on top of one another. 15 laps to go here in the Pro Late Model. Here in the Pro Late Model main event as they roll through here. Whoa, hang on to it. Watson, Garou, and Christopher staying on to it side by side there, coming off the corner number 2. Down through 3 and 4. Christopher down there on the inside. Christopherson. Christopherson now in the corner number 1 and 2. He takes over second place over top of Trevor Garou. William Watson still hanging on to the lead. 13 laps to go. Clay down there on the inside. He's got something working for him as he's now closing in on Watson as he's running up there, top through 1 and 2, bottom through 3 and 4. That seems to be working for him as there you see he's got the run down there on the bottom side. Can he quite get there? No, he's got to be stuck down there on the bottom side. Coming down there in the corner number 1, backs off a little bit, trying to get that run down the backstretch. Side by side now, front to back as they come down through turn 3 and 4. Now he gets back side to side as they roll here off. Watson trying to keep that grip up there on the high side. He gets that run, but Christopherson down there on the inside, he's getting a run as well. As now he has to fall back in behind there for a moment. Down there on the inside once again through 3 and 4, down against that cushion. It is a drag race down the front straightaway. 9 laps to go. Man, is it heating up here at the front. As you got Garou there in third, possibly following the same line there, or trying to. He gets a little more sideways there than what he probably should, coming there off the corner. Christopherson doing all he can to try to get up there. He's trying to wait for Watson to make a mistake. Watson did make a small mistake. That might give it to Christopherson as they work here through 3 and 4 as he's trying to hang on to it. Now they're side by side. What a race we got going on here, folks, for that top position here. They come off of turn 2. And oh no, looks like that bottom side's going away as Guru's now getting a run there on the top side right behind Watson. As Christopherson down there on the bottom side just doing all he can to try to stay with these guys. As that bottom side does seem to be giving way just a little bit to that top side. Not quite getting the runs he was getting before as he's trapped down there along the bottom. Doing all he can to try to keep that car up there in position as those those three are battling hard here with 4 laps to go. And now, oh no, are they going to go 3 wide possibly? They possibly can. With now Guru driving there through the middle, trying to get his run at the 23 of Watson, as Watson still hangs on to the lead here with 3 laps to go now as they come down back into quarter number 1. Side by side, you got Christopherson down there on the low side. You got Trevor Guru up there on the top side. 3 FTM drivers trying to battle it out. You got FTM back here in 4th and 5th as well, and 6th. Scott Rion back here in 6th. Pat Boyce down in the pits. Brandon Dittmer called it a night. Right now, we need more drivers in here to the Pro Late Models to show these FTM drivers a little bit about driving these things, just so that they're not the ones, so that it's just not the FTM team out here running. Down through turn 3 and 4, checker flag is out. Watson gets the win. Christopherson there second. Trevor Guru gets third. Man, oh man, what a run there tonight by these Full Throttle Motorsports drivers. I want to thank Full Throttle Motorsports for helping us put on a show tonight. Without them, we wouldn't have a Pro Lake Model show. Regal Wraps and Designs sponsoring the broadcast. All right, there we go. Great job. We'll get with our winners here momentarily. Trevor Guru there in 3rd. Good evening, Trevor. How's it going?
Good, you?
Oh, it's going well, man. That track really shaped up to give us a great racing surface tonight.
Yeah, it ended up being pretty racy. It was, yeah, I mean, bottom was working, top was working. It was fun.
Yeah, it definitely was. Which had surprised a few of us tonight, haven't been able to get 2 grooves going here at Huset's.
Yeah, I think it's just we had so much time to burn it in, so that, I mean, the top and bottom just ended up getting even from how much we burnt it in practice, and ended up giving us some good racing. But yeah, I'd say it was a fun race. Honestly felt like I had the fastest car on the track, and I think lap 20 I just pissed it all away. So I mean that's the way she goes. On to the next.
Yeah, top 3 definitely looked awesome out there tonight, and I definitely wanted to give a shout out to FTM because it was pretty much an FTM field tonight.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think there's only 2 non-FTM guys, so I mean, hopefully we get some more drivers next week in all divisions, and you know, get back to our normal 20 to 25 cars.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome to get back to a better car count for sure.
Yes, sir.
But congrats on getting 3rd place tonight with that 75T machine. Sponsor shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for helping you get 3rd place tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank all the guys at FTM, of course, and special shout-out to Mr. Tyler Bowman over at Vertex Graphics, coming on board as a sponsor for FTM, so shout out him. Shout out Dean Reynolds of the Super Dirt Car Series, Sam Maconda Sets, Expert Installation, Castleberry Flagstone, you for putting this stuff on for us, Flieger, and everyone at C2C.
My pleasure, and congrats again on 3rd place, and hopefully we'll see you back next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that was Trevor Guru, our 3rd place finisher. Now we'll get with Clay Christopherson. Evening, Clay. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Well, unfortunately, you didn't quite get that win, but you definitely gave it your all.
Oh, yeah, the car felt really quick. It was just not many options to move around on the straightaways, and that's when I think I needed to do the passing. So, well, it was a fun race, though. We were We were 3 wide a lot of it.
Well, unfortunately, you kind of got trapped down there on the inside. You didn't quite get that lane you were running there that was doing so well, catching Watson. And then that almost cost you second place a little bit as Guru was able to catch up to you.
Yeah, it was really hard to hold the momentum on 1 and 2. 3 and 4 felt really good on the bottom, but yeah, 1 and 2 was pretty slick down there, so it was really hard to keep the momentum. I was trying to get the top of 1 and 2, but just couldn't get enough room.
I mean, car looked great. You look great out there, and congrats on getting that second place tonight. Hopefully that momentum will carry into next week, and hopefully we get more cars out there to join us.
Yeah, I mean, it was a small track, so I'm fine with that number, but yeah, in the future, I hope we get 15 to 16 like we were.
You might have been fine seeing 9 cars out there, but I'd like to see a few more. But great job. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting second place tonight?
Yeah, you guys for putting this on, all the guys at FTM and Swan Speed Shop for 358 and big block sets.
Alrighty, well, congrats, and we'll see you next week as we take on another dirt track.
Thank you.
All right, now we're time to get with our winner, William Watson. Watson, how's it going?
Good about you?
Great job tonight getting that win. Probably couldn't ask for anything better, right?
No, back to back. Can't ask me anything better. It was a tough one though. Clay had a run on the bottom. Had to change my lineup in 1 and 2 to stay in front of him.
Well, I mean, the only thing that probably would have made it better is if you could have got the win in the 358s, right?
Yeah.
Pulled a clean sweep like Morano did last week.
Yeah, that's the one thing I haven't done. It's going to come, though.
Well, you look good. You had that thing hooked up there on the high side, and that high side worked for you tonight.
Yeah, that's normally where I'm at, and pretty much everything. I'll stay up high. Clay's a bottom feeder, which is why he was so fast down there, and yeah, I'm just real comfortable. That's what I've always done, is just ran the wall pretty much my entire iRacing career, so.
Well, and I've noticed with the late models, a lot of tracks, or even a lot of dirt tracks, they like being up there against that cushion later in the race.
Yeah, if the track's built for it, yeah. Like Lanier, sometimes Lanier will go up there, but it varies. This track, yes, it's so small that the horsepower will want to be up near the wall.
Well, definitely. I mean, if I'm thinking right, I think I forget. Volusia, I think, is one of the ones where I try to run the bottom or run middle to bottom. But yeah, for the most part, a lot of them I run that higher line, like what you're saying.
Yeah, let that burn build up and get up on top of it.
Yep. So, but great job getting that 23 to another victory lane here tonight. You put the big block there. Now you put the pro late model there, so you should be feeling awesome about that.
Yeah, I do. It's a great night of racing. But most of the time when I'm in these races, I get caught up with wrecks and stuff like that. So it was good to have a good clean race.
Well,
and I hate that I hit that berm in the heat race and took Anthony and Sam out. I hate I did that.
Oh, it happens. I mean, but you take the win and did a great job getting there. So hopefully you continue this momentum into next week.
Yeah, hopefully.
You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting that win here tonight?
Teammates at FTM, Swan Speed Shop, Stupo Performance, GripX.com, Dina Dirt Car Series, Express Installation, Tyler Bowman at Vortex Graphics for the wraps. He does great work. Coast to Coast, Shaggy TV, and you for broadcast tonight.
Alrighty, great job. Well, see you next week.
All right, appreciate it, bud.
That was William Watson, our winner here tonight. I will go ahead and get our results up here for everybody else. Here is your finishing results for the Pro Late Models. William Watson out there in front. Clay Christopherson there second. Trevor Drew third. Dean Reynolds there fourth. Sam Bachman fifth. Anthony Morano sixth. Scott Rion there seventh. Pat Boyce there in 8th and Brandon Dittmer in 9th. And that'll do it for our show tonight. Congrats to everybody here tonight to come out to race. Congrats on all of our winners. We get set to take on another track next week. Again, we want to thank everybody for their support and everybody. Without your support, we wouldn't be here putting on the shows we do. So, great job. We'll catch you next week for another Coast to Coast Racing Network presentation.